Not only have I dropped 42 pounds myself this year and got into the absolute shape I'm at 41 years old, but I've helped hundreds of people over the years do the same. And hands down, these are the biggest things and the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to their own fat loss journeys. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying none of these things are quick fixes, shortcuts, hacks. It's not as though I'm going to tell you an easier way to lose body fat. It's supposed to be hard. You need to turn up for yourself and do the work. But if you're not already doing these things and you implement them into your routine from today, it will massively accelerate your fat loss journey. And before I get started, if you're completely clueless with all of this, on where to start with your fat loss journey, how to put your diet together, what things to focus on in the early stages, click the link in the description. I've created a free guide that walks you through it. You can implement this stuff today and start seeing a result as quick as the next 30 days. So mistake number one, piss poor nutritional planning. You need to have your nutrition for today planned, prepared and tracked yesterday. The caveat to that is people that have got a huge amount of experience around these things who can maybe eat a little bit more intuitively or prep things on the go and still control their intake and meet their nutritional needs. But for most people, and for the most part, you need to spend time. Put together a meal plan that you can follow. Carve out time in the diary to plan your meals, prep your meals, input it into MyFitnessPal, and it will give you far more control over your nutritional intake. If you literally spend 5 minutes every evening just inputting your meals into MyFitnessPal for the next day, it means you're going to have far more control over your intake. Tomorrow hasn't happened yet. So if you sit there of an evening and put all of your food in for tomorrow and find out that you've gone over on calories, you're under on calories, you're massively short on protein, you haven't consumed that food yet. That day hasn't occurred yet. You can make adjustments and manipulations to your intake ahead of time, so when you wake up tomorrow morning, it's all taken care of. Because let's face it, if you're getting to the end of the day and finding out that you've gone over your calories or you've massively under-consumed protein, you've fucked it. It's too late. And it's also a telltale sign that you're not giving your nutritional intake the time and attention it deserves, which then sort of feeds into the question of how important is this to you? Mistake number two, you're trying to be way too varied with your nutritional intake. I cannot stress this enough. If you're in a fat loss phase, just eat the same foods daily. Now, I know what you're thinking, yeah, but it's fucking boring eating the same things every day. No, it's not. Eating boring foods is boring, but if you learn how to cook, add spices to your potatoes, to your rice, to your vegetables, season your meat, put together a structured meal plan around things that you enjoy eating that are palatable, that are going to meet your nutritional needs without fucking hating your life, because I guarantee it will make your life a lot easier in a multitude of different ways. It massively cuts down on decision fatigue, so you're not waking up every morning thinking, what the fuck am I going to eat today? It cuts down on food wastage, because if you're eating the same things daily, you know exactly what you need to buy on the weekly food shop and the quantities of each of those foods. It's going to massively increase your nutritional consistency, your nutritional accuracy. It's going to massively accelerate your fat loss. And just remember, fat loss phases aren't intended to be forever. If you do it right, you get in, you lose the body fat, you get out again. Any flexibility or any freedom that you feel you need to remove in a fat loss phase, you will earn back at a later date. But fat loss phases aren't supposed to be sustainable. It's supposed to be making sacrifices, saying no to things, doing things that aren't necessarily sustainable in the long term to elicit a fat loss result, therefore allowing us to reverse diet, bring calories up and get that flexibility and that freedom back. Not to mention that the more consistency and the more repeatability that you've got with your nutritional intake by eating the same sort of thing every day, you've got far more accurate data to work with. So if you get so many weeks or months down the line and things start to plateau and slow down, it's an easier thing to manipulate because you've got accurate data to work with, rather than having a shit show of inconsistency with you eating different things on different days with different caloric intakes. It's just going to be a clusterfuck of nonsense that you're going to struggle to decipher, therefore move the needle closer to the end of that fat loss phase. Mistake number three, you're trying to create too much balance. This word that gets bandied around the fitness industry, this balanced lifestyle, and it's bullshit. You're in a fat loss phase. Balance doesn't exist. It's a period of time where you make sacrifices, you say no to things, you put restrictions in place that aren't deemed as sustainable in the long term because they're not intended to be sustainable in the long term. As I mentioned before, a fat loss phase is intended to be a period of time where you get in, get out, achieve a fat loss result, allowing us to then reverse diet, bring calories up to maintenance and beyond, and then buy back a little bit of flexibility, a bit of freedom, a bit of your life that you didn't have in that fat loss phase. But if you're constantly trying to create this balance and have this social life and do all the things that got you to the point of being a bit of a fat cunt, then one of two things is going to happen. You're not going to be consistently in a deficit, therefore you're not going to lose body fat and you're not going to get leaner. Or if you try and shoehorn too much balance into this fat loss phase, what could have been a 12-week period of time is now 16, 20, 24 weeks. You lose the fucking will to live, you fuck it off, and you end up back to square one. So stop trying to create balance. Make the restrictions, make the sacrifices, say no to things, commit to the diet, reverse diet, and then you'll get it all back. Mistake number 4 is that you're not carving out time within the day, within the week for steps. Most people massively underestimate the need and the impact that having a higher step count in a fat loss phase has on their fat loss journey. Now, we can think about a calorie deficit, and our fucking calorie deficit, as 3 things. Reducing your nutritional intake, increasing your output, so training, steps, cardio, or a combination of the two. Now, me personally, in a fat loss phase, I'd rather squeeze out another 2,000-3,000 steps a day than have my calories dropped any further. Because let's face it, it's already fucking miserable being on lower calories. You're hungry, irritable, training performance suffers, you start to hallucinate about all the foods that you want to consume. So why make it even harder for yourself? Dedicate time within the day to get those steps in. Now, if you're getting to the end of the day and you realize you're 5,000 steps short, that's on you. That's piss poor planning. I'm not numb to the fact that life gets in the way at times, but the key word there is at times. If this is happening on a weekly basis, on a regular basis, it's a sign that you're just not taking this shit seriously. It might mean that you have to get out of bed 30 minutes earlier in the morning to get 3, 4, 5,000 steps in, but I guarantee you'll rather do that than have your calories cut even further, therefore increasing hunger levels even further and hating your fucking life. Undoubtedly, these are the heavy hitters when it comes to fat loss. When my clients nail this shit, the rate at which they get leaner, the rate at which they lose body fat accelerates far beyond anything that they were doing on their own or that they could have imagined. Now, one thing that I want to leave you with is just remember, you want this. You're the one that wants to get leaner. You're the one that wants to see your abs for the first time. No one's got a fucking gun to your head unless I'm mistaken and somebody's kidnapped your family and said you're not getting your wife back until you get a 6-pack, in which case, what do you want more? Krispy Kreme donuts or the love of your wife? Fucking do like a donut though. So you got to remember that you're the one that needs to turn up, you're the one that needs to make the sacrifices, you're the one that needs to commit to this and do the work. You can't leave things to chance, you can't wing it, you can't make shit up, you need to take this seriously. Alternatively, you just carry on doing what you're doing and hoping for the best, and in 12 months time you probably won't look any different. But let's face it, I'm not your dad, I can't tell you what to do, I can only advise you what I think you should do. But for now though, much love, thanks for watching, hit subscribe. Until the next time.